Welcome to the regular meeting of the Public Art Review Board of July 17, 2024. The time is 6:04 p.m. And I invite Becky to call roll.
All right, Member Kowalski,
Here.
Member Merritt,
Present.
and I know Member Sandoval is absent this evening. Chair Schaffler
Here.
and Member Zhao.
Here.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and then I'd like to call the agenda item of approving the meeting minutes as of from, I guess, because we didn't have quorum last time, of November 15th, 2023 and April 17th, 2024. If anybody has questions or changes to the minutes. Otherwise, can I get a motion to approve and second the minutes, please?
I can make a motion to approve and minutes. I can only vote yes on the day I was here, and one
That's
day
right.
I was not here.
Second. I will, assuming it was the same day.
Yeah.
Which day?
Let's do them one at a time, just for clarity.
Sure, okay, so then let's get a motion to approve the meeting minutes of November 15th, 2023.
I can put a motion forward to approve the meeting minutes of November 2023.
A second?
And I second.
Okay. And we'll take a vote on those. Member Kowalski,
Approved.
Member Merritt,
Approve.
Chair Schaffler,
Approve.
and Member Zhao.
Approved.
All right, thank you. Motion approved.
Okay, and then can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes of April 17th, 2024? You weren't here.
I was not here.
She can't do it. Anyone? Bueller?
I wasn't here either.
Oh dear. Then
I
you have
was
to do
here.
it. Can I second it even if it's I'm not asking for the motion?
Can, I don't know if we have quorum to. I guess we have 2 abstains and to. Go ahead and do it, and then I'll follow up with our city clerk on
You
whether
got
or
it.
not we have to bring something back next time.
And also, Craig, if they have reviewed the packet and read through the minutes that way, they can also vote that way. You didn't have to be present for the meeting.
Great. Okay, so then, can you, so that's okay to move forward then with that, Becky?
Yes.
So
Let me take roll on that real quick. Member Kowalski.
we need a motion and a second.
Oh, I thought we had one.
Motion from, member Zhao and what is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay. And then
Second. Merit.
got it. Okay. Yes, Becky, please.
Okay, so let's go ahead and take roll. Member Kowalski,
I read the minutes and I didn't see an issue, but I wasn't at the meeting.
So
Member Merritt,
Approved.
okay. Member Schaffler
approve.
and Member Zhao.
Approve.
All right, motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have to open, at this time, I'd like to open public comment. Do we have anybody that would like to make public comment for in-person participants in any matters that are not listed on the agenda that pertain to the Public Art Review Board? I think she said no one was here.
And we're still only taking in-person public comment. But I did not see anyone up.
Great. Okay, then at this time, I'd like to close public comment. And we don't have any questions, so that doesn't matter. All right, and then looks like our special presentations, we don't have any, but we have other agenda items to go over. So I'd like to call, well, should we wait for Kristen then and maybe
No, what I first maybe what I'll do is
text her?
Yeah, we can check and see, we have 2 proposals that are on the agenda this evening. And I'll talk about those for just a quick minute, because I think we have a couple options on how we approach those. It's really at the clerk's pleasure, how they want to, call those items. If we wanted to call the second item first, we could always kind of just flip flop the agenda. There are a couple individuals for that second item who I know one of them had potentially planned to be here in person if they were able to. The other was not able to make it in person. There's a chance that they were going to be calling in a hybrid fashion here. And then this first item, the executive director of youth and arts, Kristen Jacobson, I have been communicating with her throughout the day. They have a live event going on at Youth and Arts right, that was supposed to end right at 6 o'clock. So I know that she is on her way and she planned to be here in person, so there's a possibility she should be here in the next couple of minutes. All that being said, for both of the items, we do not have a requirement that the project leads or anyone representing the project is here in person. It's not a requirement for them to be. I've communicated with both of them and knew that there were all kinds of other potential conflicts, so I'd be happy to represent both of these projects without them, or to, just move forward, and then if they show up and they are able to arrive to add to that,
Mhm.
I think that that would be appropriate.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
so yeah, I just wanted to make sure I kind of shared that overall context. Everything I'll share since I have him in here is I wanted to introduce Daniel Avalos to you here, who is brand new. This is day number 2. And I was gonna let you introduce yourself, your new role with the city, and maybe share, why you're here this evening.
Sure. I'm the new assistant library and recreation director, working with the library with Catherine. I come from Lorraine County Free Library. I was at Novato for 14 years, 6 years at Oakland Public before that. So I come from a library family. I have siblings who both work in libraries, in different capacities. And free time, I coach a couple competitive soccer teams in the East Bay. And I'm here to kind of observe as I'm going to be facilitating some of the boards for the library as well. And just trying to absorb a lot of what it's like working for the city of San Rafael, and the kind of our other part of libraries, which is recreation, and just kind of get a lot of information and see what's going on for potential collaboration.
And I
Wait,
think
isn't that your current role?
we are gonna be counterparts here.
Oh,
yeah.
So the way our department is structured, we have Catherine Kupos, the director of the department. And then kind of divided responsibilities with the 2 assistant directors. So I primarily oversee the recreation and childcare, and Davey will primarily oversee library. And then there's all kinds of opportunity for collaboration with what we do with these quality of life sectors. So I'm really excited to, continue to
Yeah,
collaborate. with you.
same.
Excited that you're on board.
Yeah.
This has been a vacant position for several months now. So
Yeah.
our leadership team that.
That's great.
So, and I'm also just excited because I've had a chance to spend some time in the libraries in the last couple of months, but I'm not a library expert. I didn't have a lot of experience there. It's great to learn. But I'd love to turn that back over to someone who has that expertise. And then focus on directed childcare. So thanks for being here.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you're gonna be great examples of our process that we go through. So I think with that, if it pleases you, if you'd like me to go ahead and just kind of move forward here and go through our first agenda item.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do it. I agree.
All right, so I do not have a PowerPoint presentation here, but what I am going to pull up on the screen is the staff report that I wrote, so we can use this as a frame of reference and take a closer look at the proposal that's in front of us. This is let me go ahead and share my screen here. Becky, I just sent you a request.
Yeah, I forgot that setting, so it should be, let's see here.
Okay, that looks good.
All right, great.
Okay, you can see that, okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is a proposal called our resilient community. And actually, this is number 2. I'm gonna back up. Open up. No, not that one. This is the first one. This is A Universe of Imagination is the name of this. This is coming our way from Youth and Arts, and this is actually a partnership with the city, with our economic development department as well as, library and recreation. This project, originated with Youth and Arts. They do programs in schools and they worked with students, from Bahia Vista Elementary School, to develop a mural that was painted on the exterior of the entrance of the school. Have any of you seen that mural? In front of the school? There's some photos here, in the proposal, that kind of walk through the origins of, that project, and who were involved. So they partnered with San Rafael City Schools Extended Learning Opportunity Program, the LOP program, and worked with student artists that collaborated with two, professional working artists who facilitated, the project. They have a really, if you get a chance, I really encourage you to watch the short film. It's called Splash of Color. That really walks through that project, and you get to hear the artists really talk specifically about their inspiration for the mural. You know, what really inspired them to come up with the themes that you see in this initial concept art. A couple of them that I know I'm aware of, you'll see there's a dragon here, which is representative of the mascot of the school. There's a book that's sprouting a tree. There's kids playing over here, a game of Foursquare, some beautiful California poppies, and there's some books here that are of significance to the community, and particularly the students that worked on this mural expressed that for newcomers to the community, new individuals who may be, immigrants or first time in the United States, those books had particular symbolic importance to them. And so there are some names of authors there and titles of books that are listed. And I want to draw your attention to that because, in our content review guidelines, there's information there.
Hi, sorry, I'm late, everyone.
No worries. I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself. We actually just started talking about the project, so I'll turn it over to you in just a minute. So you'll see there's concept here, and then in the report, it shows some examples of images from the original mural being painted. So that kind of is background context that brings us to the proposal for this project and why we're here. The city, we are taking on a library renovation project at our downtown Carnegie Branch Library. That is going to bring some really much needed improvements to that space, and it's going to require closure of the library for approximately 6 to 8 months. We're really excited about that because it's going to improve the restrooms, improve the circulation, the flow, accessibility of the building, really bring some much needed improvements to the library. But the flip side of that is there's a closure. And so we want to continue the services that we're providing. So what we're doing is we're opening a temporary library location on downtown 4th Street at the former Beauty Expo building, which is kind of right across from the Civic Plaza. So we're working on that agreement. We're trying to get that building ready to go, and kind of concurrent to those plans, Economic Development Department for the city was reaching out to local arts organizations on ways to activate downtown business space that may be vacant. How can we, capitalize on those vacant storefronts and potentially bring more public arts to the community? So one of my colleagues, Stacy Lawman, I think, reached out to Youth and Arts or potentially Chair Schaufler here and said, hey, do we have any projects that might be a good fit? And that brought about this idea for a mural that would be at 1009 4th Street. Since this is going to become a public building, we said, this is now kind of a public art project. It's the way that the timing lined up. So we wanted to bring this project to you to make sure we had given you an opportunity to see it, be aware of it, and share your feedback on the project. I will say that, for our department, Library and Rec, the proposed mural here that we see, and I can expand this, blow it up if we need to make it a little bigger. I think is a really great fit to represent this project, the temporary library that's gonna be at this location. I think that it really folds in, the artistic, kind of the fun that we want to draw people into the library. I think that there's some great symbolism in this art that reflects on the community in some really positive ways. And I think it's a fun collaboration that we see where multiple departments from the city and a local nonprofit organization, as well as working artists and youth artists who were paid for their time can see a physical manifestation in multiple locations in kind of different ways of how the art can represent their community. And so I will say that I'm supportive of this. I think the key things that I would ask you to be reviewing, and I think one of the reasons that we wanted to bring this your way is we asked this board to really be looking at the content. Does this represent the diversity of the city? Are there any recommendations that you would make or changes that you would like to see reflected? I think in particular, the books, we at a staff level, we looked at the titles of the books and the names and wanted to confirm that there were no, issues or concerns there. We do not see any. I think we would say that, while we can't necessarily speak to the content of books, we are appreciative of, what I'm trying to say here. I'm gonna back up. We as the city we don't take positions on like content, right? We have book challenges that do pop up occasionally. We know that everyone has different opinions about books. We didn't see any flags or issues with the titles or anything over there. And I think we're anticipating that could be a question for the community. Well, why those books? Why were those chosen? So I just wanted to make sure that, we spoke a little bit about the rationale. Stumbled over all my words trying to get through that, but hopefully the intent was clear. This would be a window cling. It would be a vinyl application. It would be temporary. You have full authority to approve, reject, or request changes on this. This would not need to go to our city council. I think the proposed timeline would align with the length of the temporary library's operations in that location. We would need to sign a temporary art license agreement, which I know Youth and Arts has done with us in the past. That would kind of hammer out those details. Not expecting any maintenance requirements or costs to the city. There was one correction I wanted to make. We had input the wrong total project cost or budget in here. Do you remember what the total budget
Correct one is
was?
$3,700.
Like $3,700 was. So that is not inclusive of the costs that were expended to pay for the artists or an original project.
No, it's
right?
just the reproduction and installation.
So I think I've talked enough. I
Yeah.
want to turn it over to you to maybe talk a little bit about the project. And
Sure,
introduce yourself
yeah.
here.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Good to see you again. I apologize for being tardy. We had a parent meeting for another program, teen program that we have going on that of course meant late. As parents have. So friendly stuff. So what I love about this first is that this is the evolution of one of the first big public art installations we did in Terra Linda a couple years ago that was approved by the city council and then was the catalyst for the Public Art Review Board to actually come to fruition. And in that installation, we paid youth to participate and raise their voice and install a really beautiful piece of art. And we've now iterated on that and we've started to put in murals in school buildings that we're actually having programs in already. So it's this really wonderful wraparound effect where we're recruiting youth from San Rafael, from our community, and specifically trying to build bridges to creative pathways and job opportunities for students and youth that might not otherwise have them, especially in the arts. So I just want to point that out as the inspiration and the inception of this work. And so 10 youth worked with 2 professional muralists last summer for 6 weeks to just ideate this concept. They went to the school where there was a program hosted by Bay Area Community Resources and interviewed students, elementary school students that were there. So all of these ideas and concepts come from both the youth that are going to Bahia Vista or went to Bahia Vista at that time and were there during the summer, and the teen artists themselves. and of course mentored by the professional muralists. So they iterated on it and then they actually presented it to the school board. So we actually gave them time to do exactly what I'm doing right now, and they probably did a much better job. I did ask, I could talk about, I wasn't one of the artists and I could talk about different concepts. You can see some of them are obvious. I love Foursquare over here of the students playing, but you mentioned the books. I did reach out to the artists and say, could you just give me a little bit more information about how these titles were chosen? And they asked the teen students to interview the younger students and also walk around the campus and note some of the recurring titles that they saw. They said by far the biggest was Elephant and Piggy, which is right there. So that one definitely landed, but they tried to capture really that TK through fifth curricula, if you will, or the books that they saw at the school. So these are actually titles that are relevant to the students from that attend Bahia Vista Elementary, which I find really, really special. The only thing changed in this design is up at the top in the middle. The design that we had for the school itself actually says Bahia Vista, and so to make it a little more salient for the public arts, for the library and having a public art piece on the library on 4th Street, we actually removed the Bahia Vista. I will say, I think as an arts organization that is really focused on raising student voices, it would give us pause to change much else of this design because it is actually coming from youth, both from their interviews and then from the youth themselves. During the fall of this last school year, we invited all of those youth to return and paint with us, actually put paintbrush on the wall. So you saw the photos, Craig shared the photos, and we had recurring days that the teen artists would come and install the work with the mentor artists, and then we had a few community paint days as well, which were really, really special. So the other thing I'll bring up is that as an organization, we're continually thinking about what our community benefit and investment is. And really in different ways, we've been trying to show up for our community in really free and accessible ways. And so it felt like when there was an opportunity to draw attention to a beautiful mural like this, where much of our community actually might not see it because they'd have to drive to the canal and past Bahia Vista. It felt like a really great opportunity to call out this amazing mural and this amazing work. There would also be, hopefully, I think, a sign and some with the artist credits and a little bit of description about how this came to be as well. So that I welcome any questions, or hopefully that's enough of a description. But I'd be happy to talk about it more.
So I think with that, I think we'll turn over to the board for discussion.
Can you zoom in? I would put on my sunglasses, but that would look very aloof.
We will judge you.
Really?
Those are
Okay.
cute.
I printed a hard copy. It is even harder to see in the hard copy. So I can zoom in. Do you want to see?
And just slowly move across. Yeah.
And I think this is probably obviously a little blurrier than the crisp images that we would see that would be created.
Correct, yeah, absolutely. Well, the other thing that's cool is that it's actually like the student created image. Whereas when it's on the wall, that's like the painted finished product. So I think this actually has a little bit, I don't know, more of like an authentic,
Yeah.
like drawn feel to it. It's not polished by the muralist.
So,
Yeah.
but this is what we'll see on 4th Street.
Yes.
I think it's great. Where will you put the sign?
No, that's a great question.
Well, in talking to Stacy, she mentioned like, if you see those pink that's the doors,
Yeah.
double doors, and then there's a window in the middle.
Yeah.
That's below that sun.
Uh-huh.
And she was saying she'd like to put something there because it's part of the downtown Serifel Arts District. That's like how it all came to pass. And then, so she wants to make sure there's recognition of that. And then definitely wants to have the student and muralist names and stuff like that.
Would that be a sticker or?
It would be another like professionally designed, vinyl,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, I'll add to that. I think that, since the Public Art Review Board is relatively new and this process is new with the guidelines, I think that we're as a city kind of tackling some of those questions too. What is the appropriate way to acknowledge artists? What information should go up and how do we stay consistent with that? Recently, you approved the utility box painting project with the Sandra Bell Leadership Institute, and that was a big question for us. Like, what's appropriate to stick on the utility boxes. And where we landed is a vinyl, kind of a sticker that was placed there that has a link back to the city's website that then more fully describes that project, that then we sub-link back to more information, and I would envision, in this case, we could do maybe a combination. I think having that sticker that really directly acknowledges the artists, lists their names, maybe has a link back to Youth and Arts and their project page, as well as probably a landing page back to the city's public art page, so that people can get more information about the project and how they can contribute.
And if I can, Youth and Arts had a box in that project as well, and it combined, we did another mural on Venetia Valley. And so we actually took concepts and combined them and put them on the electric box, your utility box. And so I love the idea that there's gonna be echoes of all of these images in multiple places in the city.
Kristen, would you mind briefly walking us through, again, sorry, I'm
Yeah.
blind, could you just briefly walk us through what
Do
we're
it.
looking at?
I'll do my best. Do we have the other professional rendering? Did we give that to you?
I may
Or is
have it,
That's okay.
I could probably pull it up if you want, if you give me a minute, I could probably pull that up.
It's
yeah.
okay. Again, wasn't the artist on it, but we can talk a little bit about it. So of course, we have California poppies here and this a symbol, two-hand symbol of community. I'm forgetting, I know there's a reason for the butterflies. They're dragons on either side of the door. That's the school mascot. But they're each stylized different to represent be culturally representative of the student population. So they're a little bit different. They wanted to, I know there's a soccer ball. Soccer is very big at Bahia Vista. They wanted to incorporate, of course, friendship, and I know the DNA but for STEM and science. If you scroll over a little bit more to the books we talked about. And then the other side, you'll see the other dragon. Keep going. There you go. So you'll see the other dragon stylized slightly differently. You have the DNA again, the tree of knowledge there with students playing on it. And then you have students, and it's, again, this is blurry and the actual rendering is very crisp and clear. But what I love, you have 4 different representative students down here with different perspectives and playing Foursquare as they do at recess. So that's a quick take on it, but does that help?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm trying to send myself, just so I have easy access to, I'm trying to send the better rendering.
Okay.
So I'm
yeah.
able to get
Yeah,
that up
I
here.
did too.
So anything on the top, the 2 part yellow, anything gone?
Well, we stretched it out a bit, right? Like the dimensions are different than our, if you, oh, there you go. That's really, really clear. Let's take a look at this.
See if I can.
Still the colors that too. Much better.
Read out more, but it's a little bit crisper.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
much
the top, it, because of the different dimensions, there's not much of a design there because that gives it wraps around their door that way, so it'd be on the sides. So there's not much there at the moment. We would have to alter the design to add something.
And one other request the library had was to keep it low in the window, like to not cover too much of the windows. They
Oh,
wanted
yeah,
No more than half the window color covered.
oh,
So this was to,
yeah, because there's a sound there, I wonder what in the bus side, what.
Yeah,
yeah. You don't really see, it's like kind of
Yeah,
under a
it's kind of
overhang
high,
too.
yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, really?
So I don't know that you
Yeah,
see that part too
yeah.
much.
If you, Craig, could you go up to the image you had of the actual mural at Bahia Vista?
Yes.
To kind of see what I'm talking about, if you don't mind, please. Yeah, so you can see that there's less yellow there. Those dragons really flank that door. So we've sort of stretched this design out a bit to work on a flat retail space.
Actually, you see this picture, it looks different than the other one, this look more clear.
Yeah,
The other one, yeah, this maybe big, I think, maybe the size, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions, any other questions for Kristen?
I don't have a question. I think it's beautiful and I think it's gonna draw people in. And I just want to make sure that the sign,
Yeah.
the point size is big enough, and
Yeah.
people can see it and it's legible and all those other things. So,
And translate it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
Um,
Good point. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point. I'll definitely leave that up to the discretion of likely the city of how that goes, but we're happy to oblige and make that happen.
Yeah, and I think we definitely want to acknowledge the artists and make sure that people are
Yeah.
drawn to our public art process. And so Daniel, I think we'll probably work together to make sure that when we move into that library and we're there, we can really draw attention to that.
And I think one of the goals for libraries, speaking from a library perspective, is to really create spaces that represent or that are inviting to the community. And I can't think of a better way than to, like, it's inviting the people who are put hand and paint to this to come in and who probably may not always go to downtown or North Street. So I think it's great. I love it. And there's 2 soccer balls in here, so.
That was an important piece.
The other one has one too.
Yeah, that's the one too. Yeah.
And I don't think we have, is there any public comment? Should I can open it up for public comment?
If you're here for the next,
Okay, then I'm gonna close public comment. Can I get a motion to approve the Universe of Imagination temporary window clean? Motion to approve. Second, okay. And then Becky's gonna call roll.
Thank you. Can you repeat one more time who approved? I need to, there we go. I couldn't see you guys. You were small. Who made the motion?
Member Merritt.
Okay. And who seconded?
I did.
Great, thank you. All right, Member Poplawski,
Approved.
Member Merritt,
Approved.
Member Schaufler,
Approved.
and Member Zhao.
Approved.
All right, motion approved. Thank you.
Kristen, I heard you're departing this role with Youth and Arts.
Yeah, yes. I'm actually, Friday's my last day as Executive Director of Youth and Arts. I'm sad to say. I'm stepping in as the Director of Grants for the Arts for the City of San Francisco. And so I'm excited to do that, but really hard decision to lead this amazing work. So it's bittersweet, but I'm still in Marin and still around and cheering everyone on, especially the city of San Rafael. So I won't be too far. You'll still see me around.
I just wanted to acknowledge your time here with San Rafael. Thanks for everything that you've done for Youth and Arts for the city. I mean, we wish you the best of luck. You're gonna do a great job there, and I just wanted to acknowledge that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have an amazing right-hand woman. So,
It's taking a little break.
yeah, we're counting the days till she comes back. But yeah, thank you all. The city has been a great partner. And the work of the Downtown San Rafael Arts District is really exciting. So I think there's just a lot of really great things happening. And thank you all for your time and commitment to this board. Really great. So, great. Sorry again, I was late. Thank you so much. I'm gonna sneak out.
Okay.
Is that okay? Okay. Thanks, everyone.
All right, so then hi Cheryl. We are going to talk about the approval of Our Resilient Community, a temporary exhibit at the lobby.
Hey, and real quick, an intro, we've got Cheryl Bus, who is online here, and then Kate Hageman, who is here with our sustainability department. And I'll let you, Kate, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm just here as backup. But I am working on Sea Level Rise and a plan for the city of San Rafael. I don't think many folks know, but San Rafael is the most vulnerable city in the Bay Area to sea level rise, because about 16,000 of our residents already live below the tides. So that's my work, and was fortunate to bump into Cheryl and her great work. So that's it for me.
Okay, and then Cheryl, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm so glad that Kate is there to represent our project. And here I am calling you from Hawaii on a phone. So am here primarily to answer questions, but I know that we submitted a proposal that mirrors the proposal that we submitted last year and was accepted to exhibit the young students' work from Youth and Arts and Y Plan, UC Berkeley's Y Plan, challenging the students to take on a real world project. And in this case, it's Kate and the Union of Concerned Scientists, Kate and her team and the Union of Concerned Scientists, who posed the challenge to the students of how can we, I don't have it right in front of me, I'm over here in Hawaii, but how can the city of San Rafael and how can our community neighbors be prepared for the impacts of sea level rise and also make changes in our community that help our community thrive. So the students have art and architecture and urban planning work to display using the same footprint of the project that was on display last fall for 2 months about the Fair Housing Project. And I think all of you are familiar with that, and hopefully all of you saw that presentation and are able to visualize how that might be. I can always submit more information if you need it, but we're very excited to have that work be honored and respected. And hopefully we may be able to have a reception this year now that the city council meetings are a little bit earlier, and these students are going to be in middle school, so they'll be a little bit older and perhaps can come to a reception sometime in September to dovetail with a city council meeting. So I'm here really to answer any questions that people have or concerns, especially if someone there, I can't quite see the whole group there, but if someone is not familiar with the work that we did last year, I'm happy to answer questions. And Kate, of course, can represent all of the details about the project if people have more questions about the actual content of the project. It's models, posters, and photos of the students in action, of course.
And Cheryl, I was just gonna go ahead and do the same thing I did with the last presentation. I'm gonna pull up the staff report and maybe just be able to walk through that or answer any questions that anyone has, but I think you did a great job of summarizing it. Do you mind if can I add a little bit of additional information from the city's perspective as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I think you mentioned it, but I wanted to kind of just walk back to last year. I believe this was I think the very first public art proposal that this board saw. The fair housing proposal that was installed temporarily up at City Hall. And where we landed on that was the exhibit was installed in the City Hall lobby. And it was installed for approximately 3 months last year, September through December. And this proposal would utilize the same kind of footprint within City Hall. If you can visualize that space, if you walk into the main lobby across from City Hall chambers, there's a wall that has some display televisions. Right underneath that, this exhibit would take up some space there in the corner with A-frame easels, as well as several tables that would have both 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional displays that really did focus on the process that Y Plan and this whole group of collaborative organizations did when they worked with students to talk about sea level rise. And so in the staff report, we really focused more on kind of the process that we're asking you to go through to review, kind of gave a high level summary. I'm gonna pull up in a minute, there was the actual proposal that has more of the images of the artwork. But just to kind of walk through this project, I know Cheryl did a really great job successfully implementing and facilitating the installation of the fair housing project that was done last year. And so we've talked a little bit about what this would look like this go around, and it'd be very similar. I think it'd likely be installed sometime right after Labor Day. Cheryl mentioned it, but we had interest in bringing this to City Council to do a similar special presentation to what we did last year, and would love to see some of the students who are involved in the project be able to attend if they're able to. So we're hoping we can incentivize that and see if we can get some families out. That would likely be at our probably our September 4th City Council meeting, or potentially, I believe it'd be the 17th, one of those 2 City Council meetings, assuming the proposal was approved by this group. So. And yeah, the group seems qualified, the project would be ready to go. I think there's, when you do an installation like this, there's always questions about, how are things gonna work in the field? Where will this part of the exhibit go? Is it gonna be better in this corner or this corner? And so, on our end, from a staff level review, we haven't really asked them to peg down specifically where the components of the exhibit will go. There's quite a bit of information available in the collection, but I think we would leave it up to Cheryl and the team to make some of those final decisions. And so we don't have as explicit of an image to share, kind of like the last proposal. There would be a little bit of interpretation in the field when they got there to put the exhibit in. That being said, I do know it has been on display. I believe it's currently on display at Youth and Arts, if I'm not mistaken. Or has been on display there, and so I think they've done this before and have a pretty good idea of what that is.
But actually, just I have, or do you want to finish?
Yeah, I'll just say, there's been strong community engagement in this. Quite a few different groups have been involved, including some of the names that you see here. This is also another collaborative project with the city, with Kate, the Canal Community Resilience Planning Project. We're in School of Environmental Leadership. Some stories were in Media Times. So a lot of resources out there available for this project. And then I was going to share briefly the proposal itself that has the images, but I'll turn over to you while I'm pulling that up if you had any questions.
Oh, no, I was just confused. It's a youth and arts program. I mean, it's Y Plan and UC Berkeley and Charlotte's in charge, but they're just not mentioned in it.
Oh, I that might have been just a miss on my
Oh, okay.
part, so my apologies
That's
for
fine.
that. Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to. This up from here. Nope, I'm just going to the wrong location. And then Cheryl or Kate, anything else that you want to add that was missed here for their consideration?
Go ahead, Kate.
Oh, go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay, well, I'll just say that we will be using the same footprint essentially that we used last year. We worked pretty hard with the team at City Hall with both with Craig and some others to make sure that it was not impeding any pathways through the lobby and that it wasn't conflicting with some of the information that's there for people. And I think we did a pretty good job of making the models and the posters and the photographs of the students in action as compact as we could so that it could still be fun, it could still pop out, but it could also nestle nicely in that corner of the lobby. I thought that it worked really well, and I was really happy to be working with the team. Right now, I think there are some plants there. What we did last year was we moved the plants over, and then we moved them back over to the other side of the doorways, and then we moved them back when we dismantled the installation. So it's different material, so it'll have a little bit different shape and flavor, but essentially it'll fill that same footprint, that corner of the lobby, and then right underneath the digital displays. And I got good feedback. I don't know if anybody got any negative feedback, but I got some very nice feedback from people who were very uplifted by seeing young people engaged in thinking about their city and thinking about the future of the city. So hopefully we'll have that with this very, very serious issue that Kate can say more. Now I'm going to do a drum roll for you, Kate. Go ahead, take it.
No, I just express our thanks for Cheryl and the team and for engaging the students so thoughtfully. And say also, as a co-benefit, we have this project going on right now to look very seriously at what are the options that are available to the city to respond to sea level rise. And it can be very difficult to grasp sea level rise and that very abstract. And I think that the students' work and the physical model is so helpful for adults as much as for the children to see what we're talking about and the students so well. It's really big, just say helpful for us in our planning project to have this beautiful way to engage with the information and so yeah, just saying thanks, really.
And then I apologize, I'm just trying to locate the attached proposal, which sending to myself again, for some reason, I'm having some type of this today. Pull that up. Okay. Share my screen here. Okay, so this is the proposal. And I'm going to just kind of scroll down to the images that are here. And then Cheryl, can you see this screen?
Yes.
You want to just maybe you can ask me to feel free to, or ask me to scroll forward as you see fit, but it's just anything you want to describe about the project or the images on the screen, feel free.
Well, there are really two basic parts of the proposal. One is how to reduce the impacts of climate change and sea level rise. So the students looked at the neighborhood scale and their own community scale, and even at the scale of the home, and really started looking at ways to capture energy and reduce environmental impacts that exacerbate climate change. And so some of that work is represented in this chunk of it. So we'll have one section of the project being focused more at the neighborhood scale, and then you can scroll down a little bit more. And then the next part of the project, that's still part of the neighborhood scale. And the school, and really the role that the school can play as a hub of both information and communication and community connection as the community is responding to environmental crises induced by climate change. And these are just some posters that they made in collaboration with our high school students from Marin Cell, which is also another piece of the project, a really important piece of the project, and graphic design inspired by students from Dominican University. So we really had an intergenerational collaboration in creating these posters that really are about, wake up, think about these issues, be prepared. So that's all around the ameliorating the impacts of environmental change and being ready to respond to emergencies. So they are working with the high school students. And then we worked at the scale of the city and really looked at the parts of the city that are going to be most severely impacted by sea level rise. You can keep scrolling up, Craig. So then they worked, and there's Kate working with them on a much larger model, smaller scale homes, but you can really see the parts of the city that are projected to be inundated by rising seas. And so the second part of the project really focuses on that, not only what the challenges are, but what some of the opportunities are. And we probably won't have it, but we do have that interview booth. I don't know if anybody's been down to Youth and Arts to see it, but it's really sweet because the students designed an interview booth that we put up at the Heads Up Carnival, and this is them interviewing adults on issues that are related to the community and awareness of sea level rise. And we have it up in Youth and Arts right now with some life-size images of the kids asking questions on the microphone. So we probably won't have room to install that at City Hall, but it's really a fun part of the Youth and Arts exhibit. And I think that's pretty much all. Those are the process pictures, some of the process pictures, which we will include, of course, as part of this. And so you saw some of the images of the work as well. So yeah, and again, no costs, and we will do all the firepower of putting it up and taking it down, and really should be low impact for other folks in the city. And hopefully will just be a pleasant presence in the city lobby. And thank you so much, Kate, for being there in person. Kate was a major partner in this, a thought partner as well as an action partner, and really test drove a lot of your ways of communicating some of the issues related to sea level rise and the impact on the city, and to see if they responded, if the young people responded well to them, and how those would play out for adults, and really looking at best practices. You were just a critical partner, and it's just such a delight to bring together the arts, to bring together the universities, to bring together the high school students, as well as the city and the community partners that we all worked with. And this whole project, we probably should have a link, a QR code or something, because Knee Deep Times did a really nice article, and in both English and Spanish, that's featured in their online journal, their climate change journal, and some of the posters that became part of a climate quilt. So we'll probably have a link to that too, because that's really lovely. And they translated the whole thing in a really nice article featuring the students with a real spotlight on the students. Kate, you might say more about that. I don't know if you've been able to see that yet.
Yeah, and they kind of, yeah, bilingual, so there's a Spanish version as well for their parents, which is just fantastic. And the works also featured the Union of Concerned Scientists making a video as well. But I don't think that's part of this installation, but that's also something highlighting this work in this project.
I think the Union of Concerned Scientists said that would be ready sometime this summer, at the end of the summer. They've been working on editing. They interviewed 10 students and in English and Spanish about the issues of sea level rise. And it looked really good seeing the students be interviewed. And I think the Union of Concerned Scientists was really excited about it because they've been working so hard for 2 years on a report that they just issued in June. And now that the work is rolling out that report and communicating that information to the community. So this is all a part of that. So if there's a way to feature that, we will figure that out, Kate, too. That would be great. Thanks for reminding me of that.
Thank you so much.
Is Morgan there? I see Morgan. You can represent youth and arts.
Yeah.
Don't short shrift youth and arts. Youth and arts has been huge.
Thank you. So thank you, Cheryl and Kate. I just wanted to open it up for questions from the board.
I don't have a question, I have a suggestion. Is when you do just display it, it's possible that flat isn't the best way to see it, maybe up a little bit at an angle. And it takes up less of the real estate. You tip it up a little bit. I think one, it'll draw more eyes to it, and two, it'll be a little bit easier to understand without getting right on top of it.
Thank you for that suggestion. I think you were the one that made the suggestion last year to move it to the lobby. Our original proposal said we'll have it up in the hall upstairs. Weren't you the one that said, hey, bring it down to the lobby?
Might have been
So I
me.
appreciate that.
I think it's beautiful. I think it's ready to go.
Yeah.
That's Sharon's opinion.
Anyone else have any feedback or questions?
I don't know, question.
Good. Good. Okay. Then I'd like to open public comment. I'm going to close public comment. Can I request a motion to approve our Resilient Community temporary exhibit at City Hall?
I can make a motion to approve the exhibit.
Great. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Member Kovlasky,
Approved.
Member Merritt,
Approved.
Chair Schaffler,
Approved.
and Member Zhao.
Approved.
All right, motion approved. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And then at this time, I would like to invite Craig Verme, Assistant Library and Recreation Director, to share their staff liaison report.
That's very official.
I know, I think I should read the whole thing.
I just want to say again, Cheryl, Kate, thanks so. I'm gonna rattle on for a while, but if you wanted to log off and enjoy Hawaii, you're more than welcome to, so.
Yes, enjoy Hawaii.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aloha. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you
I'll
for being
excuse
here.
myself. Thank you guys.
Yeah, take care. Thank you.
Bye.
You can't enjoy Hawaii, but you can enjoy San Rafael. I just have a couple quick things I wanted to talk about. One is I wanted to share an update that, the Boreal Center, the mural that you approved, that was approved by city council. I think I shared that at the last update. There's been kind of a holding pattern until some repair work is done on that wall. That is, I think they start that project next week. So repair work should be done hopefully by the end of this month. We believe that the muralists should be ready to go and we can give them the notice to proceed by second week of August. So we're going to keep you all posted on that. I think the idea is that we'd love to do some kind of a celebration once that mural is completed, and I'll make sure to invite you all once we have a date for that. So excited to see that mural kind of come to life here in the coming month. We are planning for our October Public Art Review Board meeting. So we have a couple things that we think will likely be coming your way. So I just wanted to make sure you're aware. One of those is going to be our annual Falkirk exhibit, RFP Falkirk Artists. So we are planning to release that very soon. Similar to the last thing I said, I want to make sure you all have that information so you can spread it to your network of contacts. So far, that program has been going very well for us. We're really pleased with some of the changes we've made, and we've been able to bring more art to Falkirk. And we're looking forward to continuing that program moving forward. So I'm gonna connect with our staff and get a little more clarity on when that RFP will be going out, I think very soon. We have, the other thing that's coming in October for sure, is we've got a couple procedural things we need to do with the board, with the chair and the vice chair appointments. The way that the board is structured is most of you have 4-year appointments to the board. 2 of you actually here have 4-year appointments to the board. I believe that board member Zhao would get a 2-year appointment and you would be up for reappointment. So you may hear from the city clerk soon regarding that. And then board member, right? I always mix up commissioner or board member Kowalski, trying to be all professional here.
Yeah.
I mean, you're represented with the design review board, and I think there's some conversation about design review board, and so I can talk with you online about
Okay.
that. My understanding is that, depending on the outcome of those changes, we will likely still have a representative from the outcome of that would sit as part of this group. But I just wanted to make sure that you were aware that, I'm not quite certain what that's going to look like by October, but hopefully we'll have clarity at that point in time. And then the other kind of procedural thing is the assignment for the appointment for the chair and vice chair is supposed to be 1 year, not to exceed 2 years.
Yeah.
And you're at a point where you've been serving in the role of the chair for about 1.5 years now, and likewise as the vice chair appointment, about 1.5 years. And so what I'll be bringing forward in October is a staff report to kind of walk us through what that appointment and nomination process looks like. But we do have some board commission rules and guidelines that the city adopted last year that make it very clear kind of what's the process and what will happen from there. Generally speaking, we like to have a rotation where people get a chance to experience the different roles. Typically, the vice chair would be rolled into the chair position, and then someone would step into the vice chair position as long as everyone's within their term. So, I'll have a little more information for you in that staff report coming for October, but I want to make sure you're aware that that's something that's coming. We decided to pause that until October, just because that appointment will be for a 1-year term starting in January. Thought about bringing that this month, but we said that's just going to be a little bit too cumbersome and tricky to have someone be in that role for a month, essentially, and then do that all over again in October. So I just want to share that. So those are kind of the key updates that I wanted to bring your way. I think that is summer, we're in general, library rec is extremely busy. There's all kinds of programs happening. We're planning for our fall activity guide, which will be released at the end of this month. We've got a lot of community events that are coming up. Our Movies to Park series begins August 23rd at Pickle Beach Park. We've got 3 others after that. We've got exhibits happening at Falkirk right now and more coming this fall. A big update I wanted to share with all of you is that we've got several, I already mentioned the downtown library renovation project, but the Pickleweed Branch Library, we're in design to do some renovations there as well. And we're really excited about some revitalization that will bring. Also down at Pickleweed, City Council on Monday night approved the construction agreement for the Pickleweed Park Enhancement Project. That's going to replace the sports fields with year-round all-weather turf, which we're excited about. A new outdoor basketball court, new restroom, landscaping improvements, outdoor play area, adult exercise equipment, camping improvements. So that's made possible by a $4.24 million Land Water Conservation Fund grant that we received, and we're really excited about that. That's been in talks for probably in excess of 15 years. It's happening. It's starting in September, and hopefully that project will be wrapped up by January of 2025, pending weather and other environmental. And then we've been doing all kinds of things with the parks, but you're not the Parks and Rec Commission, you're the Public Parks Commission. So I'll kind of leave it at that and turn it over back to you.
Great. Does anybody have any questions? Board members to Craig or anyone? Okay, I will open public comment and then close public comment. And then any board member reports that anyone would like to share? Nope, so we'll close that public comment. If there's nothing else, then we will adjourn, the meeting is adjourned at the time of 7:03.
1 hour and nearly exactly.
I did think of it.